Despite all the external factors, Ukrainian football is on the rise now. Yes, there are difficulties at the club level, but a number of interesting players represent the country in serious European championships. Before the start of the season, many relied on Alexander Zinchenko as one of the leaders of the new Arsenal, or on Mikhail Mudrik, who moved to Chelsea. But hardly anyone expected that the brightest player of the season among Ukrainians would be Artem Dovbek, a striker who moved to the modest Spanish Gerona for 7 million euros in the summer. It is all the more amazing to see what Dovbek is doing. In terms of the number of goals, he is on par with Haaland and Bellingham and is already considered one of the most effective forwards on the continent. There are rumors about a possible summer transfer to Chelsea or Atletico, so it's time to figure out who this striker is, how he climbed to this peak, and what his prospects are. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch our new videos that are released throughout the week. Dovbek's childhood is not much different from the history of people born in the CIS in the 90s. The future elite forward was born and raised in Cherkasy, a city in the very center of Ukraine. Artyom grew up in an ordinary family. Dad worked in various fields, including woodworking. Mother worked in a pastry shop, the Roshen Company, baked various goodies herself in her spare time. But the abundance of goodies did not affect Artyom's physique. On the contrary, he grew up to be a very strong and athletic guy. Strong muscles are one of Dovbyk's strongest qualities now, and he laid it down just as a child, playing not only football, but also by practicing in the boxing section. Artyom said that two of his close friends were boxers. One of them took the keys to the gym, and they went in together to hitting a punching bag. Later, Artyom's father said that boxing was generally his son's first sporting activity, but it didn't work out there, and only then he switched to football. The parents only supported their child's initiative. Dovbek's football talent began to manifest itself very quickly. He played for the school team in the leatherball tournament and scored many goals from the forward position. At one of the tournaments, he was noticed by the scouts of the local Slavutic team when he was 13 years old. At the same time, the dream of most Ukrainian boys came true in Artyom's life. He was invited to watch at Shakhtar. Dovbek had been rooting for this club since childhood, as he later admitted, partly despite his father, who was a fan of Dynamo Kiev. He is also partly because of his admiration for the game of local Brazilians Luis Adriano, Douglas Costa, and Willian. Dovbek trained in Donetsk for 2 weeks, and even heard from the director of the academy that they wanted to take him to the final part of a major youth tournament. But soon he was informed that he was not suitable, and it was time to go home. Artyom assumes that some kind of compensation was expected from his parents for being included in the team, but this did not happen. In general, the story is murky, but it probably only benefited Dovbek. As you have noticed, his path to professional football was very thorny. Until the age of 16, Artyom played at the amateur level in his native Cherkasy, had a chance to play in the youth team of the Kharkiv medalists, but was injured at the training camp and was sent home. But even without a professional contract, the young footballer managed to earn money and help his parents. At the age of 17, Dovbek still reached the pro level. He signed a contract with Dnepr. There he crossed paths with Andrei Lunin, who will sign a contract with Real Madrid in 2 years. Unfortunately, fate did not give Artyom such luxurious gifts. "I had to cling to every chance with my teeth," the young footballer said. Of course, in the Dnepr, they were not going to immediately put a 17-lot young guy in the main squad. At first, there was a lease to Moldova, but Dovbek never played there because of problems with documents. "When I moved to Dnepr, it was one of the top clubs in the country, and it was no different from Dynamo Kiev and Shakhtar Donetsk," Dovbek recalled, "so I didn't think for a long time. Somehow, we immediately decided that we needed to come here. This is a dramatic leap in my career. I joined a team that had just played in the Europa League final. It was hard at the first training sessions. I immediately got into training with European-level players, but I adapted quickly. The following season, Dovbek began to be released more and more often on the field. During the season, he will play in 20 matches and score 6 goals. He is recognized as the best opening of the season, and it would seem an excellent start, and now, finally, luck is on his side. But then the bureaucracy intervened again. Due to debts to the previous coaching staff, FIFA threw the team into the 3rd division of Ukraine, from where Dovbek came 2 years ago. Dovbek played for the club for another 6 months, became the top scorer of the first half of the season, and made a serious decision to leave for Denmark, the first test in Europe and the status of a national hero. His career in Denmark dragged on for 2 years, during which time Artyom formally became the national champion and twice the winner of the National Cup. But he almost did not contribute to these successes. He was sitting on a bench and was not given playing time. In the summer of 2020, when Dnipro solved all its problems and correctly designed the team, the club returned the player to his homeland, buying out his contract for 2.2 million euros. By the standards of the market, it was an overpayment. Transfermarkt estimated the 23-year-old striker at only 400,000, but in Dnipro, they remembered Artyom's abilities and believed in him. The experience in Denmark can hardly be called successful, but Dovbek has learned a lot in Europe. Yes, things didn't go well for me there. It was hard, there were reasons, but I saw how calm and relaxed people are about their work, how easy they are to contact in a team, how professionally they train. A completely different pattern of behavior. Now I know it for sure. Denmark is a unique country. The population of the country is like one Kiev, but there are much more stadiums and sports schools, Dovbek said. In general, Dovbek has a special relationship with the Scandinavians. In Denmark, he gained excellent life and football experience, and in the match against Sweden in the summer of 2021, he suddenly became a national hero. Artyom was not supposed to go to the postponed Euro 2020 due to COVID, but the injury of Junior Moraes opened the way for the striker to join the squad. Dovbek was the third forward in Shevchenko's team, and in fact, it was an advance since the striker scored only 6 times in the UPL all season. Dovbek spent the entire group stage on the bench, but in overtime of the 1-8 finals with Sweden, he got a chance, coming on as a substitute in the 105th minute. On the 121st, Artyom scored the winning goal from Zinchenko's pass and gave his side a ticket to the quarterfinals.
Подача! Удар! Гол! Artem Dovbek! Artem Dovbek! Artem Dovbek!
Dovbek did not play against England. Ukraine lost 0-4 and was eliminated from the tournament. But Artyom was talked about as one of the most promising football players in the country. It seems that it was that story that gave Artyom the necessary impetus. In the next 2 seasons, Dovbek made 49 points in the goal plus pass system. Plus, he became a starting player in the national team. Experts and fans noted the striker's rapid progress. He began to make more informed decisions, began to act more coolly at the gate, and competently use his strengths: high-speed jerks, power struggle, and head play. By the summer of 2023, Dovbek had become one of the strongest football players in Ukraine. Artyom turns 26 and decides to change the vector of his career. Dnipro did not prevent the transfer to Girona, especially since the Spaniards paid a record 7 million euros in their history for 50% of the rights to the player. Plus, another Ukrainian, no less promising Viktor Tsigankov, has already played here and was soon talked about all over Europe. Overall, the success of Girona this season is difficult to explain. The first place in La Liga at the end of February is something with something. Hardly anyone expected this from a club whose salary fund not so long ago did not exceed 30 million euros per year. Modestly, Girona are much and deservedly praised for their brave football. But in general, this story is full of contradictions and looks like some kind of fairy tale. Firstly, because there are no top-class players at Girona right now. Moreover, in the summer, Oriol Romeu moved to Barcelona, which was very useful for Girona. Secondly, the team's coach Mitchell had not achieved much success in La Liga before. He has earned a reputation for knowing how to elevate teams from second place to the elite, but he has never stayed at the top for long. And the team's stats are amazing. They scored 17 more points than expected, according to the XG indicator. Girona plays so bravely that football seems to inspire her to be lucky. Dovbek also has amazing statistics: 14 goals and 6 assists in 21 La Liga matches. In terms of the number of goals, he ranks 5th in the top 5 leagues. HAALAND and Bellingham scored the same amount. And in terms of the number of goals plus assists in 90 minutes, the Ukrainian is second only to Kane and Mbappe. Dovbek always turns out to be exactly where it is needed. undefeated. He is always aiming at the goal, ready to strike, and this is important, Coach Mitchell said after the match with Almeria. Dovbyk was talked about all over Europe after the recent hat-trick against Sevilla, which he scored in just 6 minutes. And these 3 goals are all Dovbyk's strengths. Firstly, the power struggle won at the far post and the headlock. Secondly, a beautiful opening in the right area behind the defender. Thirdly, a great reception of the ball and a clear shot from the left. The 5-1 defeat of Sevilla is another bright page of the incredible season of Girona and Dovbek personally, who claims to break through the 20 goals scored in the championship, and will certainly do so. Of course, it was not without luck. Girona clearly scores more than expected and concedes significantly less. It is difficult to say how long this fairy tale will last, but so far the Catalans are following the path of Leicester. In the spring, the rivals in the championship race will get bogged down in a tight European Cup fight, and here it will be important for Girona not to sink psychologically and continue to score points. Character will come out in the first place, and here Dovbek will also certainly have his weighty word.